Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and today we're here to review Super Mario RPG for the Nintendo Switch. This review was written by the super Alana Higgs and converted into video by me. On paper, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is a game that probably shouldn't exist. It brought together Nintendo's platforming icon with RPG giant Square in a way that seemed impossible, imbuing the denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom and beyond with buckloads of personality beyond the hops, jumps and yelps they were previously known for. It's got humor in spades, from tongue-in-cheek jokes to characters pantomiming events whenever they retell them. It's weird and hilarious, and it knows it, and that's why people love it. So, it's a darn good thing that Super Mario RPG, the Switch remake of 1996's turn-based favorite, retains that weirdness that gave the SNES original a special charm. Not a hair's out of place in this remake. We said in our preview that this is one of the most faithful HD adaptations we've ever played, and now that we've seen everything this game has to offer, we stand by that statement. This is a magical experience reworked to near perfection with high-definition clarity. That's true right from the moment you first look and hear the game. Nintendo has done an amazing job updating the visuals in a way that remains faithful to the clay doll style of the 16-bit version, while also giving it a new lease of life. It feels like you can reach into the screen and touch the fluffy clouds of Nimbus Land, feel the heat of the lava in Pipe Plaza as it glows and sizzles. And all of this is accompanied by a rearranged soundtrack supervised by original composer Yoko Shimomura that's as dreamy and catchy as the original. It's really remarkable to see all the towns, dungeons and maps get this glow up. Grassy, blurry plains are transformed and you can now see individual leaves and specks of dirt on the ground. The new visuals also allow facial expressions to get even more creative. Every time Mallow smiles is irresistible, Bowser's visible sobbing is funnier than ever, and the animation carries over into stunning cutscenes pepped throughout the story. And every triple move also gets one of these cutscenes. True to the original, there's no voice acting either, with only Bowser's grunts being vocalized. This initially feels a bit awkward during CGI scenes, but we're not sure we'd want full voice acting even for Geno and Mallow. The game aims for 60 FPS throughout, and for the most part, it hits that, with the exception of some fairly noticeable frame drops in certain areas. This happened in locations with lots of water, such as Kero Sewers, Tadpole Pond, and the sea. This is only a small blemish on what otherwise is a gorgeous remake, but it is a bit surprising nonetheless. What isn't surprising, however, is the story. Super Mario RPG's narrative isn't going for anything deep, but depth isn't really the point. The game knows exactly what it is, a fun adventure featuring everyone's favorite platforming plumber. And fun really is the keyword here. Mario's expedition to save the princess might lead into a world-spanning quest, but the joy is in the journey and the details. We've talked about the charm in spades, but the cutscenes and the dialogue in this game are riotous, and it's exhilarating to go around every town and talk to everybody each time you progress to a new location. All this dialogue for the most part is exactly as it was on the Super NES, though a few pop culture nods have been swapped out. Rest in peace Bruce Lee reference. Plus, we're not quite sure we can forgive Frog Fuchsia's being changed to Frog Sage, come on now, though Mac to Clay Morton might make up for it. Almost. The simple story, abundance of humor and visuals aside, the gameplay is where most of the smaller tweaks to Super Mario RPG come in, although the combat isn't bringing anything new to the table in terms of the genre. At the time, the timing-based combat was a novelty, but the game isn't much of a challenge even on the standard difficulty, though it is still a joy to play. The timing-based button presses, which became a staple of Mario's subsequent RPG adventures, can take a while to perfect, even with the added exclamation point aid. If you start to get better though, the exclamation will eventually stop appearing, meaning you can't use it as a crutch. Plus, the timing is different for every single character, weapon, and attack, so there's a fair amount of skill involved. You don't need to nail them down to get through the base game, but you will need them for a lot of the optional quests and bosses. The new features like splash damage, triple attacks, and the exclamation mark can't be turned off, which means the Switch remake is even easier than the Super Nintendo original for the most part. But there's a new wrinkle in the form of special enemies, stronger variants of enemies that can randomly appear in battle. These hit harder, have better stats in general, and require a bit more thought than regular encounters. They're still manageable, but they do randomly add a bit more flavor for those who are looking for a little extra challenge. Oh, and if it's a challenge you want, then trying to do 100 jumps in a row is still really hard. In terms of the difficulty, fans of the SNES game and RPG veterans do have something new to look forward to after the credits roll. That's a big step up from the base game. While it doesn't provide anything close to the toughest the genre has to offer, it does add a few extra hours and another layer of joy for those who truly fall in love with Super Mario RPG. And we reckon that a lot of people will with this Switch remake. The 27 years between the Super NES version and its reincarnation has been very kind to Super Mario RPG. This is a timeless video game with simple controls, a colorful cast, and a boatload of humor that'll have you grinning from ear to ear the whole way through. This remake has been handled with love and care, which shines through in the gorgeous new visuals, beautiful rearrangements, and just how close it is to the beloved original. So in conclusion, Super Mario RPG is here in all of its weird, wonderful glory for new generations to experience, and sets a new standard of how to do a faithful remake right. Delivering a beautifully preserved, pure experience for fans of the original, and an accessible entry point for genre newcomers, the game's infectious charm, writing, and polished gameplay do so much to elevate this beyond what might have been just merely a simple RPG starring Mario. We here at Nintendo Life give Super Mario RPG for the Nintendo Switch a 9 out of 10. Now, I myself also got to try out this game, fortunately, and let me just tell you, it's one of the true greats. The game just keeps on giving, the combat is really addicting and fun, the writing is hilarious, and the story and all the characters just work so well together. It's wild that we haven't really seen a lot of these characters in any Mario game since, so after this remake, well, I'm just praying for a sequel. And even if you don't know or aren't very familiar with a classic RPG with turn-based combat, then you should still give this a go. It's a brilliant entry point into the genre, and it'll just show you how fun those games can really be. But I'm not gonna sit here and spoil the entire game, so yeah, just go and get the game when it releases. It's brilliant, you're gonna love it, and if you also love this video, why don't you try and jump 100 times on that subscribe button? Just make sure that you're subscribed at the end, and don't forget to check out our website nintendolife.com, where you can find reviews like these in written form, but also loads of guides on this game if you ever find yourself stuck. Stay safe, play some Super Mario RPG, be it the remake or the original, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.